Phil, Flat Broke Garage. Welcome to the channel. If you're new, welcome. I hope you stick around. If you're a regular, thank you. If you're a subscriber, you're the best. Thank you for subscribing. Basically, you can see by the name of this video, yes, that's right, we made a decision. I had 3 vehicles I had to kind of work on and get going, and I had to weigh the scale a little bit. We had price, availability of parts, and location. Well, it came down to the one, the Jeep. As you see, overwhelming votes. We put it up in the last video and up on Facebook. Crazy amount of votes for the Jeep. I kind of like the Jeep too. But I am going to get to the Sunbird, guys. Don't worry, the Sunbird will be running by June and driving. Plates and all. More to come on that later. H-body, I think the engine's toast. But, yeah. So, as you can hear, it's raining today. So we're going to let it clear up, and tomorrow we're going to go do a retrieval of that Jeep. Get it back in here and start fiddling with it. Try and get it back on the road and driving. We're not shooting for a show car. We just want her driving and back home because I had to get it out of where it's at. So I'll see you guys over there once this clears up. Well, here we go. We're going to get it loaded up here and get it back over to Flat Broke Garage. I think we might have a couple more issues. The wheels ain't turning. So we have a stuck brake or two. So should be fun to get off. We may have bitten off just a bit more than I thought it was going to be. Here's a wire. But there are other cars. They're coming out. We're going to be parting some stuff out, some Torinos. There's all kinds of stuff. There's a K5 Blazer, like a 78. Bunch of square bodies. Do you guys see anything out here? Yeah, you put it down there in the comment. We chained the truck to the oak tree and we're just gonna drag her off. Mrs. Flat Broke Garage is not going to be happy with this one sitting here. I'm going to have to get this rolling and inside. That'll both out. Well, the Eagle has landed. Thanks, Steve. Okay, well, it's in here. We got rain coming for the next week, off and on. So, I'm going to kind of clean this out, see if we get her going. All right, well, let me bring you up to speed of where we're sitting here while going back to review some of the footage that I took with the old GoPro here. It apparently seems the GoPro didn't catch a lot. And I mean, a lot. So, I guess since I've rolled it in here, none of that's been filmed. So let me kind of bring you up to speed what we got. I took the hood off the Jeep because the hood, when you open the hood swings down and it's like right in the way of the distributor. So that was inconvenient, and I'm kind of fat and kind of big. So I thought it'd just be a lot easier, just take the hood off so it's easier to work on this, which is great. So I got the battery hooked up, battery charger. I cranked it and it's still cranking hard. So we went underneath and I had to dig out that rat's nest I told you about that was stuck in there. But I also wanted to be sure the truck was in neutral. Well, it was kind of in neutral, but while it was turning, the front drive shaft was spinning. And how the older Jeep works is you got one shifter for the transfer case, which is two-wheel, four-wheel high and four-wheel low and neutral. And then the other shifter is for the front axle, in or out. So you could be theoretically in four-wheel drive and not in four-wheel drive because the axle is out. But the transfer case is spinning in four-wheel drive. So we got that. So when I cranked it, I also noticed that the front drive shaft was spinning, which I guess meant that the axle was engaged, I think. So we got that in neutral. We got the rat's nest out. Let me show you that. Which brings us to our rat's nest, or whatever type of animal or creature this was. But it's like nylon rope, leaves. It's nasty. I ended up having to burn out the rest of it with a torch because this nylon twine got all wound up in there. So that brings us back to getting some fuel hooked up to this. I know it has spark. It has run before, but like I said, it quit. It wound everything up. If you saw in the last or original video of this thing, we did get it started and running. It quit, and then it wouldn't start again. I thought maybe it was the starter because it's cranking real hard. I pulled it out, and the starter, the housing was cracked at the Bendix drive. That was no good. So I ended up having to go buy a starter for a 327 Vigilante AMC motor, which is not cheap. But while pulling the starter, I found this just mangled up nest. So now all that's cleared up, and it's time to make this boy run again. Now it only ran for a couple seconds the first time before I guess it wound everything up. But it's time for round two. Well, it seems to run fairly decent. Like I said, I had this running earlier, so I did know it ran, but I think we got a fuel issue. I think first thing I'm going to look at is this screw-on fuel filter. This has a Motorcraft or Ford 2-barrel carburetor from 1980-ish, 90. But we're going to pull that out and see if that's clogged. Everything else with the carb seems to be fine. The squirters are working. The needle and seat are shutting it off because they have electric fuel pump going to it. It has some questionable, you know, throttle linkages. But let's shut the electric fuel pump off here. And we'll get this filter off and see what we got with this filter. Hopefully it's just that. I think I have another screw-on filter around, but let's take a look at that first. Forgive the rain drippy sound. Had a bunch of rain come through here It's better than snow and ice where I used to live. So yeah, I'll take the rain and 50-degree temperature any day over below zero. So yeah, I definitely have gas coming to there. Whew. Got a mess. Alright, this is 15/16, I believe. This is the old style type fuel filters. Let's see here. Can blow through it or not. Let's see how much gas comes pouring out of the carburetor where the bowl is. Not really a lot. Well, let's see if it blows through. C flat, I believe. Alright, well, that's discouraging. Our problem is not the fuel filter. Something else. Needle and seat, we'll have to give it the old tappa on top and be sure needle and seat are opening all the way up. But it's not, it's just a 2-barrel. I went over to my shelf. I do have another 2-barrel Ford carburetor laying around here. Full of mud daubers and stuff I see, so yeah. Perfect. Well, we know it kind of runs. I've ordered a carb rebuild kit and a carb gasket for the Motorcraft 2-barrel carburetor. And ordered a bunch of other stuff now that I know it does run. Ordered a master cylinder, a bunch of brake stuff, wheel cylinders and such. This radiator is obviously not for this. I mean, it's, you know, somebody made it fit. I did, however, go over to my buddy Steve's, and he has Jeep truck 1969 radiator. Boy, it's a lot smaller than what's in there, but like I said, that's for something really big. So I don't know if that's going to be any better or not, but I have it. So I guess while I'm waiting for my parts to come in, we'll attack the interior. It's nasty. Let's get it cleaned up. Start checking out some of those wiring. Maybe I can get the ignition switch to actually work. See what else we can get to work or what fire hazards we have going on. So I might as well do something. It's a little better. I mean, you know, a guy might almost want to sit in here. I did notice a few things. The radio did turn on. It didn't, like the radio was hot wired. So, but other than that, I have no other power. I don't know if this, I didn't even think to check this oil gauge or not to see how much pressure we have. I know that it had pressure just because they had the valve covers off, and it was, she was pushing oil. Look at this in her ashtrays. I just noticed that. Nothing in this dash works. Nothing. You have to pry the glove box open, but when I put the switch in, there's no glove box. It's just a door. Now over here, that was had a little Jeep logo on it. That was the speaker for the radio originally. This thing has 98,000 miles. I'm guessing she went around the horn once there. I'm thinking more like maybe 198. I don't know. The floors aren't horrible. They've been patched. See like a triangle patch here. That isn't bad, and that looks factory for the accelerator. So this looks like a factory floor. Not bad. I did notice something when I was vacuuming. This seat is like, it's not attached. Here's some more of the nature that was inside this when I found it. The whole cab was full of vines and stuff. Found it, but it doesn't even know. So let's get this seat out of here. Tank isn't even attached. Let's pull this out and kind of see what we got in here too. I don't know. Well, with the seat out, and everything kind of vacuumed up, once again, the floor isn't bad. They did some, you know, good enough for me patching. I like the rivets. But, yeah, so they, like I said, this is a 3 on the tree. They kind of custom installed the floor shifter here. But I noticed the fuel tank is sitting on blocks. So obviously this is not the tank for this truck. But they just kind of gave up at some point and said, good enough. I like the seat belts. Jeep, baby. I also noticed this, the cab is mounted like a spring mount. I don't know if you can see it, my fat butt. But yeah, the cab is spring mounted cab mounts. Kind of cool. I also thought I saw under here, I want to see how easy it is to pull this tank out. I think the sill plates for the doors are back behind here. So I'm going to yoink this out and see what we got back there and maybe take a look inside this tank. If something doesn't bite me. I got all kinds of wood blocks. I think everything's screwed in here. I have to take a look underneath because this is like clamped in. I don't know. I'm going to take a peek underneath. We'll see if I can kick this out of here. Yeah, let me bring you in here. Get this. So I was right, guys. I did see the sill plates, and they used the sill plates for cab repair. The back of the cab has rotted out. It looks like just along the seam. They made these high-tech mounts, which I think they're going to keep these. But this tank doesn't look bad at all. Well, so far, we've gotten a radio that works. Well, kind of. This speaker's probably worth more than the whole truck. Now I gotta figure out why it won't crank with the ignition. I don't know. There's so many twisted wires. We're just gonna sort through stuff here. Well, looking at the other carburetor I have, the 2-barrel, I don't think it's really bad. I can't remember where it came from. But I got to take this other carb off anyways, rebuild it or get a gasket. So I'm going to pull this one off and just chuck that one on. I mean, this one at least has a choke that works. So I don't know. We'll throw it on there and see if it makes any difference. Like I said, I think it just sounds like a massive vacuum leak. And what's it going to hurt? 4 bolts? You know, we'll put this one on, see if it runs any better. Give it a shot. All right, so the new used carburetor's on. Let's fire it up and see if it goes. I have the fuel pump running. Nothing's leaking, so yeah. Give it a shot. Way better. She's run a little richer now. She's run a little richer now. I have to adjust it, but check out the oil pressure here. Oil pressure is right around 50 pounds. 50 pounds at an idle. So that's pretty good. I'm happy with that. I gotta get the choker stuck. But when you're down to a little bit of an idle, more of an idle here. So there we go. Way better. Now, can I get this thing to move? We ain't got no brakes. We'll see. In order to get this thing kind of driving, it'd be nice to have some kind of brakes. The emergency brake or whatever, parking floor brake seems to work, but in order to get this thing to roll, I had to beat the brake drums with a BFH. I mean beat them. So I got everything loose. The springs and keepers came off the back drum here, but I'm going to pull this tire back off, see if we can get everything kind of attached back on, see if I can get these parking brake or emergency brake to work, and then we'll take her for a drive. All the parts I've ordered, the master cylinder and I think 2 of the wheels are on back order, so here we are. I still want to get this moving because I got to get it out of here. I want to work on my 71 Torino too. But we'll whip this on, see if we can get it to run and drive, and take it for a cruise, see what happens. So basically, while bashing the brake drum off, I didn't do too bad of damage. I bent one of these keepers, and the spring and the keeper are gone. I have extra one of those, and spring came off from here. Put that spring on. I think I can put the drum, clean this up. Jeez, got a sliver from that thing. I think I can clean these up, and we can at least make this parking brake work. So let me see what I can do to get this put back together. Digging through my used parts, I mean, found a old keeper and spring, and see if we can get that in. I mean, it'll work. Like I said, we're not rebuilding the brakes, we're just trying to make it so the truck will move. So let's see here. I think there we go. Get that on. Got this brake shoe has come off. This holder here, we have to give the that. Throw our spring back on. And yeah, well, we have one. Close enough. Hopefully just the parking brake works. I think the parking brake operates the front pad. Do I even have parking brakes? Well, I don't know what I'm worried about. I just did a little looking, and this has got a parking brake delete. Dang it. Somebody already took all that off. That's what came through here, and can't believe I didn't even look. Well, whatever. Anyway, we kind of got this back together. I can put a drum on it and not have everything fall off while I'm driving. So we're just going to be like dragging our feet to stop. Well, let's get this back on. There we go. Well, it's a little better. I mean, you can be better with the lining, but hopefully all these parts show up soon. I really want to get brakes going. I want to drive this thing down the road. But like I said, we have no brakes. Ugh. At least the drum's on. Of a head gasket issue. This thing is spewing antifreeze. I don't know, let's see what's going on here. Well, here we go. The maiden voyage. Ain't gonna be much of a voyage. I have no parking brakes, nothing. I live on a hill. So we're gonna fire it up, pull it out, see if it moves around. I'm gonna keep it in low range. I don't know, first time in God knows how many years this thing has actually moved under its own power. Let's see if it does. All right, let's see what happens. Well, it's running and it's foaming. Yeah. We got a head gasket issue, but running a little rich. I think the choke is stuck. But oh, go for a cruise. I'm out of gas. Well, that'll stop it from running right there. Well, there you have it. It runs, it drives, kinda, moves. It's definitely a leap forward from where it was. Now, for the downside, this thing was not a slam dunk I thought it was gonna be. Usually I've had pretty good luck. Every now and then, I get it. So let's kind of run down what's going on with this thing. Basically, I need a fuel system. That's no problem. I have absolutely no brakes. Nothing. No parking brakes. It's all deleted. There's no brakes whatsoever. It has 4 rotten tires that are, they have tubes in them. They're kind of holding air. The wiring in the dash is completely destroyed. So I got to look into that. Biggest problem is we either have head gasket issue or a cracked head. Which is odd because looking under the valve cover of this thing, this engine looks fairly fresh, fairly brand new. I mean, the oil, when I got it, the oil was crystal clear. But there's a reason why everything ends up in a junkyard. And I think this one might have had one or two reasons. It looks like somebody was working on it. They were putting a fuel system in. They never hooked it up because they had an electric fuel pump back here that's mounted here. And they had something back here, but they were trying to put a tank in. They never finished that. I don't know if they did the engine or the engine was kind of fresh and then either blew a head gasket or had a cracked head. But if you look at this thing, I mean from out here, this engine looks like it's been sitting for 50 years. Yeah, I guess I'm going to own it. I should have worked on the Sunbird. I knew the Sunbird ran and drove, and you know, once again, it's obsolete parts. I cannot get a fuel tank for that car. Can't get a sending unit for it. The floor is utterly destroyed, but looks like I'll be bringing that one back in and getting that working. Now, I did order the parts for this truck. I ordered brakes, and they're a 2-week back order. I gotta keep going on something. I am gonna work on the Torino this weekend, but I think we're gonna put the hood on this and kind of tuck it out back because I'm needing a lot more parts for this than I expected. The main thing is I did get it out of where it was. It had to leave. I had bought this thing a year ago, and it had been sitting in that yard for over a year, and he really needed it gone. So it was the perfect opportunity to get it out of there, get it running and driving. I mean, it'll at least move around the yard here. So it is a success. Well, I will be working on this again. I don't know about soon, but it will be again. We're going to get in on the Torino, going to get a couple videos up on that. Probably going to get the Sunbird in, but in the meantime, I think I'm going to put the hood back on this and, like I said, tuck her out back. I appreciate you guys watching, following along. Subscribe if you haven't. Even if you don't want to, just give me a thumbs up. Really helps. And we will talk to you on the next one. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you later.